Mattel Electronics presents the Intellivision Gamer.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Intellivision Show, episode 58. We have a special guest today. Kind of like everything, the show is set up for Brian of Brian's Man Cave. I've been wanting to do a YouTuber highlight again. It's been a while, and he is one of the few that I have on the list. Also have been wanting to talk about his upcoming game, and it just kind of made sense. So whenever I was going to pick the Homebrew Highlight, I'm like, well, we've kind of got a theme going. We need to continue that. And I picked a game that Brian has programmed. So, we're going to get going here a little bit. We're also going to have a little bit of news, a little bit of mail call. I have some Intellivision stuff. We're going to kind of get a little bit of the regular show, but it's mostly going to be the stuff of the segments with Brian. I don't want to make him wait around too long. But before we get started, guys, please give the video a like. It really does help out. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, AtariAge, and also my other retro gaming channel for everything not Intellivision. That is For the Retro Gamer. And let's go ahead and welcome everyone before we bring on our guest. TJ Ferrer he came first. Good job, TJ. Good to see you. Chris Walker, hello. Break a leg. I hope not. It's possible with how I get up here, though. Benville, what's going on? There's Brian's Man Cave. Michael Doherty, good to see you. Rick, what's going on, Rick? Dave, good to see you as well. Feels like forever since we chatted. PJ Smith, did you get that ColecoVision issue sorted out yet, sir? Kurt Bradshaw, good to see you as well. Everyone's saying hello. Phil at Retro Bliss Gaming, good to see you, sir. If you guys don't already sub to Phil, make sure you do so. He is a fun guy to watch, streams weekdays, has a podcast, and I'm going to be on there tomorrow with him and Mike's Gaming Gala. I'm not sure if there's going to be a fourth. We're going to be talking about Atari homebrews, our top 10 lists. 5 are originals and 5 are ports. The issue is I have 30-something and Atari 2600 homebrews, and they're primarily ports. Salvatore, what's going on? TJ says, here and hi all, about to go make some bagel pizzas. Yeah, he's in my time zone. He's not too far from me, just a little bit north. So yeah, while I'm starving, that little bastard will be eating. Sorry if I yelled, I'm not used to that. For Retro Sake Gaming, he's on a third time. He had 2 goes today. I was watching him play NES games. Definitely, if you love NES, go check out his channel, sub. He's fun to watch, always playing NES games quite often, has a hell of a collection, makes mine look small. His is very large. Carla, good to see you. DJC, I know who that guy is. Creeper, what's going on, Creep? Trying not to miss anyone here. Everyone's saying hello to everyone. I'm digging how organized your shelves are. That's actually pretty bad right now. You can see there's like controllers here, another one here. Behind me, you can see there's a box that doesn't belong. There's games like right here. Over here, I've got all kinds of miscellaneous crap. The problem is I've been going to a lot of game shows, a lot of local swaps. I'm back to work. This is the 3rd week. I've been working overtime to pay for all the crap I've been buying. I have so much stuff in here right now. It's hard to even walk around. This game room's 420 square foot as is right now. And yeah, I've been going like crazy on Master System and NES and buying a bunch of other stuff. And I can barely even get it all up here cataloged and set somewhere because I have to do some things before I go put it on the shelf. Yeah, it's been crazy. So stuff's everywhere up here. Haven't had any time for the shelves behind me for a while. Until next week. I think I got everyone. Phil says, I feel like someone is checking my eyeballs with the finger moving around. Follow my finger, Phil. All right, let's welcome on our guest, and then we'll get started with the show. I'd like to give a warm welcome to Brian of Brian's Man Cave. Hello, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
No stranger to the show. It's always good to have you on. Like I tell a lot of people, it's like you're one of the first ones when I came back to collecting. I found your channel early on, and I always loved it. You're one of the guys that I followed the longest. I really didn't follow too much while I stopped collecting for that 14 years or so. All right, so we'll do the first little bit first, and then we'll get started. It won't take long. I purposely tried not to put too much on here. I wanted to just focus on the stuff we're doing. One thing I forgot to talk about last week, I want to try something. I want to try a new segment called Ask the Intellivision Gamer. And this could be both fun and dangerous at the same time. If you want to know about, hey, is this homebrew compatible with IntelliVoice, or when's this game coming out? Can I buy this ROM? If you want to do personal questions, nothing inappropriate. I don't mind, but I'm not going to put that on YouTube. Whatever you want it to be, send me an email, send me a message, whatever you want to ask me, Intellivision related or personal, and I will highlight it on the show. It'll take maybe a few minutes if I get a few, but that's something I wanted to try out. Always looking for something new to do. If I don't have certain segments, maybe other times I have other items I could fill it in. It could be fun. So we're going to try that out. If you guys have something you want to ask me, get a hold of me in whatever way you can. Leave a message on this video, not the live, and I will add it to the show. So let's go ahead and do the little bit of news I've got. Let's switch over. All right, so what have I got? I just got some high score. I'm going to move this again. I need to present. I did not have it ready. Almost, though. Almost. It's not too bad. All right. Let me switch this. Always mess that up. All right, so I don't know that he got him in time. Usually it's right before the high score challenge. Let me go ahead and look. I normally have this one ready, but there was nothing there. Is he there? It does not look like it. All right, so he's either working late or sometimes he does forget. I didn't reach out to him. I thought, well, if he gets it, he gets it. Let me find it here real quick. Scroll. Where'd you go? Dang it, I had it ready. Why is it not there? That's really weird. Burger Time should be there. All right, well, we're going to move on to the next one. I don't know why I can't see it, but I can tell you there was some impressive scores. There were 2 people with over 200,000 on Burger Time. I can't get anywhere near that. I haven't tried in a long time, but I know I can't do 200,000. So we'll bring that up next week and just carry it over. So we also have results for the AtariAge high score challenge. Rick, who should be in the chat still, runs this. Very well done. This ended February 27th, and Crash 7, 98,320. Inti-Fan Matt, 83,850. Rick himself, 21,590. And you have DPI Sakane, 15,600. Fake Cortex, 11,920. Lupavax, 10,550. There's a decimal there. Wolfie 62, 9850, M Crew 5970, and Garu 5060. There's no fuel challenge also. Different set of scores there. I'm not quite sure what that is. Then we have Canyon Escape, which started out as a tiny contest, and I love this game. It's really fun. I haven't played it in a while, and here you can download the ROM. Let's go ahead and get to the scores. So Rick's going to take this one, 20,530. Crash 7, who won, the River Raid is 15,270 in second. DPI Sakane 14,710. Garu 810,810. Lupovax 10,250. Fake Cortex 7,400 and M Crew 6,040. A lot of the same names there. I didn't have time. Retro Bliss Gaming. There's 4 games and you have a month to do it. I got 1 in, and it was the Intellivision game, and I did win that. So I'm very happy to get another one. I will be a Retro Bliss Ninja contest winner. I try to represent for sure the Intellivision games, and I like to play the other ones as well. This month there's no Intellivision games, so the first one I'm going to do is the one I recommended, and that one, oh man, what the heck? The name just went out of my head. It's the one recent. We have a recent homebrew for Intellivision. Time Pilot. Jeez. Time Pilot, but it's the main version. So I'm going to look forward to playing that one, and I'll try to get in the rest. But I will be leaving towards the end of the month. I'm going to be doing a lot of getting ready for my big trip to the Midwest Gaming Classic. That's going to be a fun time. All right, so what are they playing right now over there at AtariAge Intellivision Homebrew or Game Challenge? Robot Rubble. A little bit of the screenshot. You can download it here. That's awesome that they have that. There's the overlay. They tell you what you need to do, what settings you need to be on. And the other one is Blockade Runner. So you've got a homebrew and an original 125 game. Blockade Runner is really fun. I enjoy that one. I never even knew it existed growing up, but I do enjoy it now. Back over here. All right, so mail call. What did I get? So just a few minutes ago, I got something that I should have had. I think it took the scenic route, and I've been kind of stressed about it every single day. Oh man, this is really good. Taped up. I'm hoping it didn't get smashed because my box was in pretty bad shape. Hopefully I'm not blowing your guys' eardrums out. This is tightly bubble wrapped here. I don't see any damage. Oh, good. I think we're all right. All right. So what finally came? Oop, let me get this out of the way. I was looking at the other screen, and that one's right. Take that off there. All right. So I've got my Paulista Avenue Redux, and you can see all the signatures on it. This was a special order before PRGE, and it was all done. You see Carlos Madruga down here. You've got Walter right here, and you've got Justin Cheer right here. Very happy to have that. Definitely be giving it a try here shortly. Sorrow of Godland Thur. This is a reprint, whatever you want to call it. This is the Electronite version. I'm pretty sure it's the same game, just a splash screen and the box and other Electronite branding. So very happy to finally have these. I get really nervous when stuff's late, especially when they're new homebrews. Stuff has got lost, but luckily never a homebrew. All right, one more Intellivision item for you guys. I would show you, if you haven't seen on my other channel, I went to a big grand opening for Fire and Ice, which is a really good retro game store about 2 hours north of here. Maybe I'll play it next week or go check it out on the other channel. All right, so Rev calls me a hoarder, and I'm going to prove it a little bit right here. And I did leave a couple, so I didn't buy them all. But Rev posted these. These are the Intellivision Revolution PRGE catalogs, and I got a few of them. And these are the Korgs edition, which even less people have. And I got a few of those as well. They were a 2-pack, and how many did I get here? I think 5 of each. So that was 5 different auctions. And then on the Intelli Club, this magazine, I was interviewed in it. I think it's really cool. It's the first one. It's a pretty nice magazine. How many of these did I buy? 6 of them. So I want to save these, and I was happy to get them. He put them up. He did charge me $30 shipping. I said, come on, Rev, it's papers and magazines. I gave him a little bit of hard time. So that is all I've got for Intellivision. Like I said, I did go to a grand opening. I picked up a ton of NES, some really good Master System games. I got one here to show you. This is a modern take on Game Boy. Plays all the original cards for Game Boy and Game Boy Color. These are sold out everywhere. My son and I both got. Ours are black. They're chromatic. Those are pretty cool little devices. I still would like to get the analog pocket. That's the one I want. You have all the adapters, and it plays all kinds of handhelds of past. That one is just 2. I've got an EverDrive on the way. Let me catch up on chat here really quick, and then we will do a homebrew highlight, and then we'll get started. Does anyone really know what time it is? Oh, there's a lot of different times. There's a lot of us in here from all over the place. Intellivision goodness time. That's right, Phil. That's right. PJ says warm, gooey Intellivision goodness. Michael Hayes says Blockade Runner. So with your new schedule, Michael, are you going to be participating in some of these game challenges? We've got quite a few that we talk about every week. I know you're quite good at some of these games. He got it for his 8th birthday. I never knew it existed. I don't remember ever seeing it. I mean, I might have in the stores. It's no Kool-Aid, man. Almost caught up here. Rick says, I have Casey and Intellivision dude on at the same time. He doesn't stream Intellivision on Mondays, though. That is strategic. We try our best to work together and not do Intellivision at the same time. It's not always possible, but for the regulars, we try. Phil says, love the Master System. I have about 120 carts, but tons of it. Woo. So you've got a lot of stuff from overseas too. There's 114, and that's what I'm going for. There's 114 in the US set, North America, whatever it is. And I'm right at 90. I need to count, but I'm somewhere around 90. 1 year off. As many years as it's been, that's fine. 1 year. I wasn't able to make time to live stream over the weekend. Maybe tonight, if I'm not too tired when I get off. Are you able to dual stream? Because I like catching you, but I never get told. And I mainly only watch YouTube. I try to find stuff. I'm not too Twitch savvy. So I don't even do Rumble. I'm pretty much a YouTube one-trick pony. All right. So what did we pick for the YouTube highlight? We picked one of Brian's games. And this is Keystone Kopps. This is one of your early games, right, Brian?
Yeah, the first one.
First one complete. I mean, you had other things, but this is the first one released, right?
Well, the game I had before that wasn't really
Demo.
a full game. It was the Perfect, which is a play off the Perfection game.
Yep.
That was like the first thing I actually like programmed. But as far as the full game, that's the first one and the first release.
Here is the full color manual. Let me pop this out bigger again, just for this part. And here is one of the lovely overlays. Of course, I forgot to switch it. Now we're in the Homebrew Highlight. All right, so tell us a little bit about this game and why you chose it for your first project.
Yeah, well, so basically I found this book on the Facebook group. Oscar was advertising it at the time. And at that time, I was thinking I wanted to I missed doing a little bit of programming. So I thought, I felt like programming, and I was originally I was looking into the Atari 2600. And then when I saw this book, I thought, oh, wow, Intellivision, that seems interesting. So I bought the book. Well, first asked Oscar if how challenging it is to program, like to learn the language. And I said I had a background in certain basics and all that. So he said, you shouldn't have any issue. So anyways, I got the book. I started doing some of the programs in the book, but then I thought the best way to learn is to start on my own game. And after I did the perfect game, I actually did, I did like kind of a tiny little Kaboom type game just to get the feel of it. But then I thought I need a real challenge. And Keystone Kapers was always one of my more favorite games on the Atari 2600. It was pretty much the reason why I bought the Atari Junior back when it came out on the shelf, was so I could play Keystone Kapers. So I thought, I thought about the game. I'm like, it shouldn't be too hard to make. So it became a challenge for me. And I wasn't planning on it actually being a release or anything. It was just really for myself to see if I could pull it off. And I started showing it off on my Facebook page, and I guess people reached out to Rev and said, "Hey, see if this guy wants to release the game." And that's pretty much what happened.
So, what was the hardest part about that game? Were the elevators hard?
The escalator.
The escalator.
The escalator was hard. The elevator, a little bit tricky. I had to watch the behavior of it and stuff and see how it really how it operates. But the escalator gave me the hardest to because the amount of sprites, like you get to use 8 sprites, and I was already using 3 sprites for the cop, and I was using 2 sprites for the crook. And so I was already limited on sprites right there as to, how many I was going to use to make the escalator stairs move. And at that time, I was still very, very new to this programming for the Intellivision. There was a lot I didn't know. And so trying to figure out how to get the stairs to move with using sprites, like you'll even notice that there's only stairs on the level that you're on. So if you're on the bottom floor, you'll only see the stairs there, that type of thing. So, and getting them to kind of move and look like an escalator going up, I think I spent the most amount of time on that.
Nice. So it was a game you liked. You were basically just starting out to try to build something and learn as you go. And it turned out to be a good, fun game. And it ended up being released. So let's go ahead and show a little bit of it. I've played this, but it's been a while. But I have played it a decent amount.
Yeah, and my intention when I was building it was that I wanted it to look like how it might have looked if it actually came out on the Intellivision. So I didn't really add anything to it. Slight graphic upgrade, but the game pretty much runs almost the same as the Atari.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Rev. I didn't want to interrupt Brian, but good to see you, Rev. He said hello to you while we were talking.
Rev.
And this was, as Brian said, this is published by Intellivision Revolution. This is one of Rev's games, programmed by Brian. All right. I wanted you guys to see the splash screen and everything. Keystone Kopps, press disc. There, let me get the names off there. At least for now. I'll probably forget to go back to them later, but there's the guy I need to catch. I'm sure most of us are familiar with this game, but I know not everyone is. So tell me, I know there's something different too. Now I see what you're talking about. Tell me about the top, the landscape or the cityscape, whatever you call it.
Oh, I decided to put Toronto in there. I'm in the Greater Toronto area here in Canada, Ontario. So that's the Sky Dome with the CN Tower, and the landscape. I kind of looked at a city map, or a picture, I should say, of Toronto's landscape and tried to mimic it. Like the Atari one, obviously, is just a bunch of blocks up there, just to look like there's a city in the background. So I wanted to add in a little bit of extra flair to it.
You caught him. That's a nice screen right there too.
Yeah, that was actually, I put all that, like the start screen and a lot of these graphics in much later, closer to its release, because I didn't know how to make graphics like this at the time when I programmed the game. So these were like my first attempt of actually trying to make graphics.
Kurt Bradshaw does not have this game yet, and he wants to know how he can get a copy. Well, the man is in here. That is Rev. I miss Poe. What's going on, Poe? Good to see you. I didn't see you slip on in here. It's one of Brian's games published by Rev. Yes. Did I say that backwards? Sorry, guys. So, Rev, will more of this game be released? One day he'll have more, Kurt. Just watch out. You know I always post. Sometimes it's on the store. Maybe we can get an update from Rev. I've been meaning to reach out to him. How's that website coming along, sir? Are we getting close, or is it still going to be a while before that website comes back up? All right. Let's go a little bit more. This is a special day. We're going to play a little bit longer. So that's the timer. What is that on the left side? Just a timer? Like how long you have? What happens if that timer goes down? Oh, you can't see it all. It's cut off a little bit. Oops. I think it's because of the screen layout I'm in StreamYard, because it looks right on my end in OBS anyway.
There's also the view, so you can actually see where he is on, like, what do they call it, the radar screen.
How do you do that?
If you push the, I believe it's the not the jump button, the other action button. Here we are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So because I didn't have any room to actually put a radar screen on there, like he pretty much takes up the whole screen. Like
yeah.
To fit all floors in there. So I thought, that's a good way to add in that extra bit to the game, but also it allows you to pause the game. So if you want to pause it, then that's one thing you don't get with the Atari version.
Did I pass him?
Check the radar. Looks like he's down there. You're done. You're stuck.
So what happened? What the heck's he doing way down there?
He ran away. So whenever you get on the same level as him, and you're ahead in front of him, he'll turn around and run the opposite direction. Now he can go down the escalators, but you can't.
So
and the other thing is, there's no way to get down from the 4th floor.
So where does he go right there? He's going to escape?
He's just going to go down and just keep running until the end. Or your timer runs out.
Rev says Activision games were the best back in the day. I love Activision games still to this day. I love seeing some of those guys, David Crane, Gary Kitchen, Dan Kitchen, Audacity Games. I love seeing them put out more games. I've met him at PRGE. I met him and talked to him again at Sack Gamers Expo. I went to one of their panels there. That's actually really close to me. And, it's a lot of fun. I chat with them. There wasn't a whole lot of people at Sack Gamers Expo interested in Gen 2, but I sure was. I ended up picking up everything I was missing from them, and I ordered one of every tier. Phil says the only problem with Keystone Kopps is that when the elevator's on the 2nd floor, you don't know initiating up or down, or if it's up or down.
Yeah, it's on the middle floor, so you're not sure unless you've been watching it if it's going to go up or down.
Yeah, I went too far and he got away.
That was one of the things. Like I had to watch the behavior of the elevator. I think that was the other thing is trying to keep track of where the villain is, where the elevator is, while you're not on the screen. Even when I was programming it, to have the villain kind of have his, you know, when he appears on the screen, when he's not on the screen. Took a little bit of thinking to do that.
It's probably better if I use that elevator that time. I normally don't do that, and that's whenever he got away from me.
Typically, the elevator's beneficial in the later rounds.
When he's faster. Am I supposed to touch that?
Obstacle. No, that's an obstacle.
Okay. I didn't think so because it always stops me, and I know so it's taking my time away. I'm like, I should jump that.
Yeah, you get the briefcase, the money bag.
We're going to catch him here in a second.
Now this also, because I was learning this with this game, I also included the Intellivoice in there, but it's the robotic Intellivoice, so it doesn't sound as great. But
I don't have the Intellivoice hooked up, and that explains why we're not hearing anything. If you're wondering,
yeah, and that was one of the things, because I decided to use the Intellivoice at the time. I was only thinking about it having the Intellivoice on, so that when you hit an obstacle, it doesn't make any sound because it's supposed to talk at that point. So I wasn't thinking at the time that what if someone's not using the Intellivoice? So there's a few things where the sound effects are not there because, you know, if you don't have the Intellivoice plugged in.
All right, I figured out the problem. It was just a different panel. It should be better now. Okay, you can see everything now. Good. Now he's too far away, though. There's no way I'm going to catch him unless I...
You'd have to use the elevator.
Yeah. Whoa!
Glitch.
Not sure what happened there. This one's not bad, but I like that other one you use now. The splash screen for Brian's man cave.
Oh yeah, that was Justin Cheer who made that.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. I got to get a new shirt too. It's hard to tell, but this one, your shirt is almost orange when I look at it. You can see the black on here, but it's faded. It's one of my first gaming shirts. And I need to put a link. I need to find that link if you want to support Brian and pick up some of his merch. I'll put that link. But I do already have the link to his YouTube account, his website, and something else already in the description. Make sure to follow Brian if you do not. He's been around a long time, covers a lot of different things. Yeah, I feel artwork's nice. I like it. Let's try one more game here. I just seen a glitch again. Could be my console. So how long can you beat this game, or does it keep going?
You get up to, where did I end up? I think 14 levels in.
14 levels? I've played through several, but nowhere near that.
Then it will just keep looping on that 14th level.
So it'll loop until you die.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the most hardest difficulty, and it'll just repeat after that. And that's what you'll have, the airplanes going fast. You'll have the double balls coming at you. You got the much more of the radios.
Oh, jeez. Poe says that's why I bought Brian's hat. You don't have to wash it near as often as a shirt.
That's true.
We'll see. I don't know if you guys can tell, but hats don't fit this head. Most snapback hats, I can literally unsnap it and it will not go on my head. So yeah, hats, that's why you never see me in any gaming hats, because they won't fit. I wear a double to triple X size hat.
Jeez.
Yeah. Michael says RGB. Isn't that the case on every version? Creeper saying, yo, Poe. 14 is twice as many as Atari. Atari has 7. I didn't even know that. I remember playing as a kid, but this thing plays really nice, especially for a first effort, Brian.
Yeah, it took quite a bit of time. I mean, there was a lot of, and I think I learned so much from making this game that when I started working on the other games, it was, things were getting a little bit easier to figure out.
So I don't even know the first step about programming. I'm sure I never will, but once you learn how to do a technique, you can carry that to other games, right?
Well, yeah, and I figure every game I make, I always end up learning something new. For my Rags to Riches game, for instance, I didn't. That was my first attempt at scrolling. So using the scrolling feature, which essentially scrolls all the tiles in a direction. Something that the Atari 2600 doesn't have, which is gave me a little bit of an advantage when making things like the Rags to Riches game. Because I originally played that game on the Commodore 64, which, a much more powerful machine.
I have 2 Commodore 64s, but no originals. I have both versions of the Mini, that bigger one with the functional keyboard. I don't even know the names of them. And then I have the smaller one with a non-functional keyboard.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of games on there, but
they're preloaded.
I missed the early computers. I only knew 2 kids that ever had one all growing up until like 486 era. That was it for me.
I think I played most of the games I know I played on the Commodore 64 back in the day.
I had one friend who up in his closet, we had, Intellivision Ataris, and then we went to NES, and I remember stuff later, but growing up, that's what we had. After that, I was older. One kid had a Commodore 64 up. I think it was his parents' old computer, and he had a bunch of games on discs, and we played it a couple times. That was it. And then there was another kid at school, and I never even saw this one. He had an Amiga, and I can't even remember which, if there's different versions, which one, but those are the only 2 kids I ever knew that had computers, just my age group and where I was. I don't know. I never even knew a lot of them existed. I do have a few now I've collected, but I'm not nostalgic for them. Rev says, fun fact, the Keystone box art had to be redrawn and extended to fit for the Intellivision layout. I think it's been since not long after this thing was new. I played it quite a bit right at the beginning, but it's been so long since I've gotten into it. That's why whenever we're starting to put together the show, I'm like, I got to do one of Brian's games. And I started looking on the shelf, and I'm like, ooh, we'll do Keystone Kopps. We can play a little longer than we normally do a Homebrew Highlight. Brian can talk about the game. I knew it was one of your early ones.
Yeah.
Get a little bit of gameplay in there too. Got him. TJ says the Atari Creep really wants to catch that baddie. I mean the Intellivision gamer, but yeah, sure, Atari Creep wants to as well. Tagged the wrong one. I'm like, maybe I missed a comment from the creeper. I'm like, whoa, what do I do there? Oh yeah, duck.
Watch the airplanes. They'll kill you right out.
That just makes you pause.
Everything else just takes a little bit of time off you, but the airplane, just like that, will kill you.
I was pushing down.
Oops.
I thought I was. I guess I can't wait till the last second. I better make sure I start pushing it before. These controllers are getting a little old.
Yeah, one of the things that I learned too was because I do all the creation on my computer of these games, I'm also often, like at the time, testing them on the computer. So I'm using the keyboard. So I always have to remember that I have to, at some point, bring it onto the LTO flash cart and put it on a real Intellivision so I can play it using the controller, which is a lot different.
I can't use the right controller. I have to use the left. I had that same... See, like right there, it's working fine. Oh, I touched them. That's weird. try one more time. Then we'll move on. Of course. Whew, that's scary.
Yeah, the game does start to get really intense.
I think I can still catch them, but that stopping for the planes. Oh boy. I'm going to say he's got to be close. How often are new things implemented, or at what point is everything there and it just starts getting harder?
It's like a slow build-up. You'll notice, like right now, the shopping cart's moving at a slow pace, but now the ball is going higher, which makes it a little bit harder. It hit you, so it's not going to come back. You can just keep going.
Is that better at this point when it's higher to go under, or still find a point and jump over?
You can duck it.
Okay. Let me pull back here. Let me catch up on chat here. Retired's good. I got a long time for that, and mainly because, well, I'm not 55 yet. I will be full retirement eligible in 5 years, but I have a 9-year-old and I need insurance and I like to spend money, so I'm going to be working a while longer. Koi-Fish Gaming, welcome, welcome. Earl of Lemon Grab from Adventure Time with a Bobby hat. Kurt says, I have Rag to Riches, Napoleonic Wars, Food Fight, Fast Food. I'm getting more from Rev. You get games all the time, sir. TJ says, I dream of retiring, but have at least another 8+ years to go. I think I've got 20. Or no, not 20. Sorry. I've got near 20. So my daughter will be 26 and I will be 66. So that is my ceiling, unless something weird happens that you can't foresee. But if things work out, I will go sooner than that. But I'm counting on that. That way I'm not bummed. Says, me too, LOL, I'm not officially retired. Yeah, that's right, because you're 75, you're born in 75, just like me, if I remember right. Oh, yeah, hip issue. That's, eesh. Oop. I thought Atari Creep looked familiar. Yes, yes. July 1st, 2028. Is that for your full retirement? All right, so got the Homebrew Highlight out of the way. Next, we wanted to talk about an upcoming game that you're working on. I have a few questions, and if we get some from chat, we can use those. So if you guys have questions, throw them down there, and I will pop them up. You are working on Tortoises. Is that the final name for the game?
Well, that's how it's called on the NES version. It's Tortoises. The original game that this is based off of was called Turtles. I sometimes call it Turtles because when I started programming it, I was calling it Turtles, and so
I remember it because I'm like, I wasn't sure because I've heard Turtles, and then I heard Tortoises, and I seen the video, and I just wasn't sure on that.
It's in my head because when I'm coding, some of the variables I'm using, I'm calling it turtle or turt as a variable, just because I just started doing it and I just kept it that way. So, but yeah, the official name will be Tortoises.
Well, happy early birthday, Creeper. You're talking about like in a few days you're turning 50. You've got me beat by a little bit, buddy. I am also the 8th, but I am September 8th. I will turn 50. So I'm a few months past you. All right, so this is a game for John Hancock. Tell us a little bit how the process of making this game got started.
Yeah, well, so I did this one for him. Block'em Sock'em. This was another game that he has for the. Well, he originally had this game commissioned to be made for the Sega Genesis. So that game he had out, he sold it, and then he decided he wanted to start putting it on other platforms. So he called out to me to do the Intellivision version, which I did. And then I think he's got it on the 7800 and a few other systems. So after that was pretty successful, he reached out to me again and said, "Hey, do you want to do Tortoises?" And I bought a copy of this game a couple of years back. I believe this one came out in 2017. I think it says on the back there. It's hard to see here in the dark, but yeah. So he had this at his show, one of the shows. I don't know, PGRE, whatever was it? PRGE, Portland Retro. Yeah.
Yes,
I always say it backwards. But yeah, he had this at one of the shows, and then he advertised that he had a few left over. And interesting enough, when he was talking about it, I thought, "Oh, that looks cool," and I ended up saying, "I'll take a copy of it," because he had a small batch of them, and I thought it was for the Atari 2600 because he was doing games for the Atari 2600, and then afterwards I realized, oh, it's a Nintendo game. I'm like, oh, that's still cool. So I don't have. This is my only Nintendo homebrew, so I ended up buying it anyways off of them. And
I have a few that I've got at PRGE, and they were all from like John Riggs and John Hancock. Whatever I have is just supporting them with stuff they're selling at PRGE. It's the only place I really see them. I have a few. I don't have many NES. It's not something I like go after. I don't even know if there are very many. More, I think there's a lot of hacks.
Well, he just did a video recently where he's re-releasing this game, actually as he's working with a company to actually get it packaged properly. Like this he had boxed, but the game itself, it's a repurposed cartridge that he's essentially spray painted green and printed off the so he's actually getting an actual copy of this game with a new artwork on the front, new box design, and brand new cartridge shell and everything, and he's going to be selling that. So re-releasing this game. So this is actually like the one that he would have assembled himself. That's why he only had limited copies of it.
So maybe this year we're going to have an NES version of that again?
Yeah, he did a video just recently talking about it and showing it off.
I remember seeing the video, but I have not caught it yet. There's so many of you guys like you, DJC, Papa Pete, TJ. I spent the last week trying to catch up. All of a sudden, he got on a tear after not doing videos for a while, and he's doing one like every friggin' day, which I love. But I was having a hard time keeping up. And Phil, every morning, if I catch him, there's so many people that I watch, and then I go and you guys don't have videos for me, I'll go back and get like John Hancock and Riggs and catch up on theirs. But I haven't caught up on that video yet, but I did see it posted. I can't remember. Are you born in 75 also?
76.
76. Okay, so you're younger.
Yeah, but I'm also in September.
Michael says, I think I'm older than the old guy gamer.
Uh-oh.
Papa Pete. 2 days ago, Koifish Gaming says 2 days ago, I watched the video. I did see it. I just have not watched it yet, but I do have it on my radar. I always catch up. I love watching his videos.
Yeah, so much like for the Block'em and Sock'em game, I don't know if anybody's seen this game. I did a video on it. He's done a video on it. It's like a puzzle style game, sort of, where you got to throw a block in the air and break blocks and stuff. So when I did a port of this, Block'em and Sock'em, I pretty much did exactly how it is on the Sega Genesis. Obviously little bit of difference on the graphics, but the gameplay, the levels, everything is exactly the same. So I think for Tortoises, for this one, I'm actually changing the levels around, adding more levels, and I'm introducing a kind of like I'm not going to call it a bonus level, but it's going to be like like right now, this is like a maze type of game, like a Pac-Man style maze game where you got to go around the maze. I'm going to have a level in between, so you'd play a couple of the maze levels, and then it's going to go to another game that's going to be similar to Kaboom, where the bug at the top is going to be dropping things down, and you have to catch them. So it's going to be like a little interlude type of level, and then, you know, I don't know if I'm going to add anything else, but that's what I'm planning on doing. And then there's going to be a lot more mazes in mine.
That's something you always try to do, right? You always try to add some levels or change something, you know, add a component whenever you're doing a game that's either a port or something that's been done on another console. You try to make it your own, pretty much.
Yeah, I like to try and add some, like when I did Donkey Kong 3, you know, Donkey Kong 3 only has the 3 stages. The arcade version, every one of them always has just the 3 stages, and I thought that's kind of, you know, boring. So I thought I'm going to add in. I brought it up to have 7 stages, because I think that's what a lot of people like to do with Homebrew is, you know, add stuff in there, just like with you know, the DK arcade, you know, add the extra stuff in there that wasn't, you know, in the original, say.
Koifish Gaming says, check you out, Brian. Great stuff over there, man. Drop my support for a fellow CRT enjoyer.
Cool, thanks. Yeah,
Big Block, what's going on, sir? Now I lost my train of thought. What part of the game are you through? Like, are you like halfway? You like 20%? You most of the way done and just finalizing things? Where are you at in the process?
I would say I'm close to being done. I mean, as far as the gameplay, I'm working on, like, I have right now all the levels in there, but I'm not happy with some of the board designs, so I'm kind of rethinking them. So I got a couple more boards I want to redesign. The level, which is sort of like the Kaboom type of game, I still need to finalize that a little bit more. And the other thing I added extra items. So on the main stage, on the main stage where you're wandering around, I don't know if you have the picture, if you can throw it up there or not, or if you had that booted up, or if you do or not. Yeah. So you'll see there's the question marks are where you're supposed to get your tortoise to reveal what's underneath there. And 6 of them will have babies, and the others will be an extra bug which will appear on the screen. So basically, the item, the bomb, what you see sitting there in the middle, or almost in the middle, it's like a black bomb. That was the only item really that you could pick up in the game on the original. So I decided to add in a whole bunch of other things that do different things. So there's like you get the bomb. I included a new weapon, a missile. So the bomb, it stuns the bug. The missile actually kills it, gets rid of it. I also added in a coin, which if you collect 5 of them, you get a free life. I added in a flute. So if you get the flute and you blow the flute, you get basically your tortoise will kind of like in Super Mario Brothers 3 when he blows the flute and the hurricane thing comes by. Same idea. It'll come by and it'll take your tortoise back to where you started in the level. So it's a good way to get from like maybe the edge of the screen to back to the middle. Just something fun I wanted to throw in there that's just a little bit different. And
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say that those items will appear on the Kaboom level where he's dropping things down. You can actually collect those in there too.
So Poe says he has Turtles on the O2. I have the complete US set. Is that an North American game, or is that from overseas? Because I don't know that I recall it. I'm going to need to play it, check it out for sure. Before we get this release. And Brian's asking a question that I actually have on here. Do you know if this is planned for a PRG release this year, or is it somewhere different, or it's not really known yet?
I think that's the idea, is that we want to have it ready for September. So I think the only, short of, I think I just need to add in the collision and the sound music, which I don't have yet. We don't have music yet. Then it should be ready to go.
And is he going the normal route like he did with Block'em Sock'em? He's going to have the full box overlays, a true Intellivision game.
Yeah,
I don't know why he wouldn't, but I was just curious.
Yeah. He's that's definitely we want to get all the artwork there done, pretty much the same way we did Block'em Sock'em, and then he's going to be releasing physical releases, and then much like with the Block'em Sock'em, he's going to eventually offer a ROM.
Okay. I know. I
Which
mean,
I might also offer as well. So
that's what I wanted to bring up earlier. That was one of the things I forgot to talk about. So we're talking about some of your older games. Real quick, because I do have your website linked in the description. What ROMs do you have available for sale on your website?
pretty much all my games that have been released except for
Napoleonic Wars,
because I don't have the rights to put that one out. But Keystone Kopps is there, Rags to Riches. What else have I done? Done quite a few games, actually. Traffic Jam is there. What was the other ones? Don't have all my games in front of me. But yeah,
so definitely if you're looking for ROMs, the link to Michael's website, or Michael, I'm looking at Michael's comment. The link to Brian's website is in the description, and definitely go check it out if you want to purchase some ROMs. He sells those directly. CIB games are a lot of revs. Some are, obviously John Hancock. Is he going to have more of those? Block'em Sock'em?
I know he did a run of I think 100. I think he did 100 and had some left over. So I think he's still selling them. But yeah, if all was well and there's more desire for them, I think he said he might do a second run.
Mike's Gaming Gala, what's going on, Mike? Good to see you. One other quick question. The other thing that I got sidetracked and I didn't bring up, Napoleonic Wars, when we brought that up, do you still have signed copies to sell or just regular versions? Or
I have both. Yeah.
Okay.
So anybody that's looking for a copy, you can go to my website. I have them both for sale. One would just say a signed copy, the other not. The signed copy, I actually open up the plastic. So if you want a sealed copy, if you want a sealed copy, just let me know. But other than that, both are available. I also have them on eBay as well, but that's more for the international people.
Mike's talking about par, so I had to show it again. And do you charge extra for the signature? Or are they the same?
No.
Or
no, signature or non-signature, same price.
I knew that, but I didn't know if things had changed, and I didn't want to be like, hey, you can get the signed version for the same price. You're like, oh, actually, I started charging more or something. I didn't want to say it.
No, I just wanted to add that as that, some people might actually want one. Actually,
that's
care
why
about
I have two somewhere right here. If it's an autograph like that and it's open, it's like I get one like that, and I have to have the regular the way it came also. So I don't have too many signatures, but I do like it whenever it's something like that, like Police Avenue Redux. I have all the signatures are on there. I'm probably gonna have to buy another one or pick it up if he has some at PRGE.
Well, I was in talk with Rev a few times about potentially getting a bunch of my other games, like this Keystone Kopps, so that I could do the same thing. I can sign them and sell them that way. Brian. I do have one or two that I could sell right now. So, I've been thinking about it. But yeah, it'd be nice if if I could do that too, get a bunch of the like Traffic Jam and Rags and a few of the other games that I have already posted.
I know there's still some people looking for some of those games too. So for you
Fast
to have
Food
them,
and Food Fight are both available. I think Rev might be selling those right now.
One thing I want to bring up why he's talking about it, Mike's Gaming Gala has an excellent review on Police Avenue Redux. Definitely check it out. I'm going to do a homebrew highlight soon, and I will link to that review if you don't catch it before that.
That
Get a
great.
little
That
bit
game is
behind here.
crazy good. Like the graphics in there.
Mike says, I'll sign it for free too, but it'll go down in value. Gonna have my jet. My iPad is dying. Or gonna have to jet. Good night, Michael. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Everyone's saying hello. All right, so Propose is PRG release. That's awesome because I will be there again. I'll definitely have a lot of footage going live, doing a lot of recording. I'm getting a little better at doing such things when I've been going to all these local stores for the other channel. I'm trying to log them all too. I'm keeping a record of everything. And whenever I go, it's a 33-hour drive from us to go to the Midwest Gaming Classic. Whenever we have time, I plan on searching out and finding game stores wherever we're at and kind of doing little videos, buy a couple things, check them out. That's one of the fun things for me that I plan to do is check out video game stores along the way. Let's go ahead and play a little bit of this video. This is on Brian's YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Let's try.
I think that was just a teaser video or something I did.
You got these question marks here. You gotta go in there and then save a baby turtle, tortoise, and then go to the house and rescue it. So this game was, I think it originated on the Odyssey 2. I don't know if it was on any other systems, maybe some other computers. But I decided, yeah, I'm gonna add some extra features into this game. Just like there's the bomb there. So you can drop a bomb, but I'm also going to add in a few other extra pieces. So as you can see, when you go here, there's a black card or white black card that shows up with that means it adds an extra bug to the field. And because we only have 6 of these, I guess, cubby holes here for the question marks, I had to because of the room that the space on the Intellivision doesn't allow for me to have all 8 question marks. So essentially, when you complete it, when you save your baby, another question mark will fill in for 2 of them. Kind of my little workaround to make it work. But as you can see, we got all it, and so those are the things running around. Those are the bugs. And you can see that sometimes they turn gray. That means they're in chase mode, so they'll actually start to come after you. If they're in yellow right now, they just kind of wander around aimlessly, like random. They don't come after you. So I'm probably gonna play around with some settings there. Maybe make some easy mode, hard mode. And that thing that's wandering around, that's bombs. So what I'm going to do there, that's going to be like extra bombs. So right now I can drop a bomb. I have 3 bombs, which is, if you look over here, B1, that's how many bombs you have left. And then when you get down to 0, you can fill up with more bombs. But I think I'm going to expand on that. I'm going to have one that will, maybe the red one will give you 1 bomb, and maybe another color will give you like 3 bombs. And I think I'm going to add some extra stuff, like something that, like a missile or something, you could shoot at these bugs and like maybe kill them. Because right now the bomb just stuns them. And the other thing I was thinking about, I don't know what it will be. If anybody has any ideas, throw it down in the comment section. Would be a warp of some sort. So because this game can get
The whistle.
So it'd be cool if you had like this warp.
This video is a month old.
To somewhere else in the middle of the, in the game. It could just, it looks for any spot where there's a ground tile and it will throw you there, just so you can quickly get out of the way. So, and maybe I'll come up with other things to also include in there. But yeah, so this is currently I got the game quite well functioning. If I go to all of the question marks, then it'll actually, the thing is, you never know where that house is going to show up to. That's where you got to drop the baby off. See, there's a house here. This is another bug. So now there's another bug on the field. So as you can see, as you unleash these bugs,
so you got a bug in your game, Brian.
Yeah, 2 bugs.
I'm definitely going to randomize that too, so it's not
This was before I had them randomized, so I knew exactly where all the things were. So right now it's all random, so you don't know which one's going to have the bug.
So I got 4. You got to save 6 babies. I think there's one here.
So that's where you were talking. It's similar to Pyramid Warp, where it's random.
One up at the top here.
Yeah. So,
See, now just reset.
so the warp, I was originally thinking of making him warp to a random location, but I decided to make it warp right back to where he starts.
And that's the amount you saved. And I got lives down here. Currently, I don't have any hit detection. You probably noticed. Nothing was happening when the tortoise, or whatever was running over the bugs. So that's going to be next in my coding there. But I am working on it. Anyways, yeah.
So I don't have the collision set in there because I want to make sure I can play the game a few times without having to get killed every time.
Yeah, it makes it a little easier, testing everything fully.
Yeah, the NES version is quite hard for what it is. So I'm also adding in the skill levels. So there's going to be like an easy mode where you don't get the chasers, you get more lives, you get. The other thing I've decided to add in as well is a heart meter. So sort of like a lot of Nintendo games of like Zelda and stuff, where he takes a hit, it's just you lose a heart. Then you take another hit, you lose a heart, and then when you run out of hearts, then you actually lose a man. So it's more like makes it a little bit easier to play. So and then so based on the skill level, you'll either have 3 hits or 5 hits.
This is one of those games that I'm not familiar with the originals at all. So to me, it's like a brand new game. But I am going to have to check it out because I must have it on Odyssey too. I've just never realized or made the connection. So I'll probably have to in the next few days. I think I'm booked the next few days. Get in there and try to set it up. Maybe I do need to do some recording on Odyssey too. I haven't done an original game yet. Maybe I'll do one for the other channel and record that game. Give me a little bit of time with it.
Yeah, I don't have it on the Odyssey yet, but I did watch some videos of it just to see how the original looked like and how it played. But I based mine more off the NES version.
Is Turtles a voice game on the Odyssey too?
Yeah.
Okay, I recall it now. Then Mike says I have it, but I definitely have it. All right. So anything else that we didn't go over or cover that you can think of on the new game?
No, I think that's pretty much. I got up to speed with where I'm at. Still working on it. Still got some extra stuff I want to throw in there. Maybe some extra screens and stuff. So I don't know. It's going to be a work in progress until I'm satisfied, and then testing will begin, and then hopefully it'll be right in time for the Portland Retro game.
Yeah, and that is mid-October. And I always remember it. Well, one, because I make plans, but this year, Sunday of that falls on my wife's birthday. And I'm still going. I'm just leaving early Sunday, and then we're going to my stepdaughter's house, who lives about 40 minutes south of PRGE. And then I'm giving my wife her birthday with all her kids, and we're going to do some fun stuff for 2 days. And that's how I'm able to go this year. I have to find a way. I have the voice. I have the original one in the box, original one loose. And then I have a modern one that was sold that it looks like a cart. And then you put another cart on top of it. And that one works pretty well too. The voice of Odyssey sings the background music in Turtles. Huh. I have not tried it. I will definitely have to do that. So now we're going to roll into the second segment for you, the YouTuber highlight. I haven't done one of these in a while. I just want to showcase, now we're just going to talk about your actual channel. And I do have a few things I'll show. I want to show a few. Hopefully the volume's okay. Let's see here. I'll pop it back up. So here we've got your oldest videos. And this is 8 years ago. You are at, where'd it go here? 3,444 subs, 1,100 videos. When did you start here? 2016. So you pretty much started the channel and started putting out some videos. I see your DeLorean right there in the first one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started off with trying to do two videos a week. I think I was doing, or I don't know. I was trying to come up with some kind of schedule.
Let's go ahead and see if we can listen. This is your first gaming video. Atari 2600 games I didn't realize were fun. Who's that young guy?
I don't know. As you can see, I had a different angle there too, and
yeah. I don't know. A lot of times I'll go back, like when I run out of videos, and I will watch the first videos from, you know, the guys I follow. And I don't think I've done that with you. I'm going to have to cue that up and watch some of your early stuff.
Yeah. Atari Creep saying you missed the inactive mic in my videos. Yeah. That microphone it's not really plugged into anything. So it's not,
oh, it's just there
for show. Well, I was trying to get it to work with the iPad I was recording off of, but it just wasn't like, you know, I started, like I plugged it in and I started doing the videos, and then I realized, you know, it's not really picking up the microphone. So I just kind of was like, well, it's not working, but I left it in there anyway.
For your channel, way back in 2016, how long was that in the works? Were you thinking about starting a channel? What got you into wanting to make a channel and start doing YouTube videos?
Well, I actually partnered up with a guy who had his own business, and it was he was selling like Atari games and stuff on the AtariAge forum, and he like I kind of joined in with him to help him sell some stuff, you know, like, oh, you know, let's partner up and then we could sell games together. He actually had the business that he was doing was called the Man Cave Cinema, and what he was also trying to sell was stuff that you could put in your man cave, you know, like installing satellite and doing this and like all these types of things that he had planned up. And when I joined with him, he said, oh, we should do a podcast together or like a webcast together live. And at the time I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's for me. And I didn't even think about it. I was like, I you know, but he convinced me. He's like, you know, oh, it'll be fun. Don't worry. So yeah, we started doing that, and it was just live, like literally hit the record. And we came up with topics like, you know, the Intellivision versus the Atari. He took the Atari side, I took the Intellivision side, and we just sat there talking. And then a couple of shows we had a guest on, a few guests, you know, that type of thing. And it just essentially got to the point where he just didn't want to do that business anymore. He didn't want to do it anymore. And just before that happened, I came up with an idea of, you know, how about I make a channel and then, you know, call it Brian's Man Cave. And then other people could join in and have their own. And, you know, it was just kind of an idea I thought of. So I thought I'm just going to try it. And I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I'm not a video person. I'm not very good at video. I don't really like editing too much. And I can't do scripted. I don't want to do scripted because I'm not an actor. I suck at it. And I'd be like, you know, I would totally look like I'm reading. Or I'd have to have the sheet in front of my face. So I thought I just want to do something that's just off the cuff. I'm just going to turn the camera on and I'm just going to start speaking. And you know, for the first few videos, I did a little bit of editing where I would try and do a big section and then stop and then do another section and then just sort of stitch them together. No real fancy editing, just clip, stick. You know, that type of
pretty much what I do.
Yeah. And so I would do that. And it was really just like, I didn't really know what I was doing. Like I didn't have a plan. I didn't have any like play videos or anything like that. I was just like, I'm just going to get up and talk about the games I like or the movies I like. In fact, I had a segment where I called it Flick Picks, and I talked about a movie I like. But I always found that those didn't do very well. The interest in those were just like nobody would watch it. And so it just kind of like refining it over the years. And then took me a while before I started doing things like, Brian Plays, where I just plug in a game and just start playing it and record off the TV, or on my computer. For a while, I didn't want to do those type of videos, but then I started to like, it's hard coming up with content. Like I'd be thinking about it. Even today, I'm like, I don't know, unless something hits me, like inspires me or something happens and a video idea comes to mind, I don't know what to do.
I enjoy all those videos you do too. I mean, I don't go way back, but I'm like 5 years ago, I think I started watching. So, I mean, pretty far. But I know sometimes you would just, a thought would come in your head about something or a video you watched, and then you would give your take on it and talk about it. And, mine's always the same stuff. And television
I did
show,
a few reaction
television
videos.
this. I like your different things that you do.
Yeah, I wanted to try, and that's another reason why I wanted to call it Brian's Man Cave, whereas it kind of opens me up to talk about anything. Like the very first episode is showing off my DeLorean collection.
Mm-hmm.
And so I talk about, because I used to have a DeLorean at the time, and I had all the models and stuff, and so I thought, this would be a fun video to just talk about that. And then the next video came along, and I think I started talking about Atari games. Creep's asking, yes, that is me. I'm the only one that has that Atari Creep T-shirt.
What is this?
Apparently he had to pull it down because I guess the Atari joystick in there or something, or maybe the name Atari.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So he put it up for sale. I bought one, and then immediately it got struck down. And that actually happened with one of my shirts at the time too. I created a shirt where I took one of the Space Invaders and I put it in the middle. I don't even think I even copied a real Space Invader. I think I made it even look like I made it look a little similar to a Space Invader. And then I put the text, "You're invading my space." And the person who bought it was Sonia, the lady that I did my very first live chat with. She's like she's a singer, but she loves video games and pop culture. And she bought that shirt. And as soon as she bought it, the Spreadshirt company pulled it down. So she got the only one to get that one shirt. And then I wasn't able to sell that anymore. So it's kind of weird what they choose to pull down. I've had a few of my designs pulled down on that Spreadshirt.
Yeah, on your early, I didn't know how your name started. I just figured it was Brian's Man Cave, games, whatever, movies, whatever I want to talk about. That's very interesting to, finally find out how that name came to be. But it did work for you from shortly in on, because like you said, it opens up for you to pretty much make a video about anything you want. Brian's Man Cave is any cool thing that, you like and want to talk about or show off.
Originally I started making videos that were going on his channel. The guy I started it with, he actually got back into doing YouTube. He goes by a different name now. He goes by Dad Is a Joke, rocking retro gamer. I think that's his full name now. So he lives not too far from me.
Is the channel with your old videos still up, or is that removed?
They might be there. It was on his other channel. I think he started a new channel with the Dad Is a Joke, but I think maybe his old channel is just under his name, I believe.
I'll have to send you a message after all this, and I'd like to go check out that channel if you can find it and watch those old ones too.
I think what I did was when I realized that he was just not into the business anymore, and it was just he just decided to call it quits. I saw that was coming, and I thought, well, I'm going to start putting my own videos on my own channel, and so that's what I started doing, putting my own stuff on my own channel. And I'm like, that way, if we dissolve this thing that we're doing, I can still have my videos going, and if I want to keep going. And I was having fun, like really. I mean, that's all I looked at it as. It's fun. I never, like I said, I never got anything really technical. I was using a broken iPad. Like the screen was all cracked and shattered. It was an iPad I was supposed to throw away from the job that I worked at. They were like, throw this in the garbage, and I'm like, hey, I could probably still use this. And so I took it home, and I'm like, well, I don't know what to use it for. And then I thought, hey, it's got a camera. It's got a video camera. So that's how I was making my videos in the beginning. Now
First
I just
webcam.
Again, now I use if I'm on the computer, I got the webcam, or if I'm downstairs, I just use my my iPhone. Whatever.
I'm about to try to switch to an iPhone. I just got a 16 a little while ago, and my last phone, which isn't too old, the camera on it's really nice. I just have to get the proper. I'm going to move all this desk around, redo it, set it up here, and it's so much better than these Elgato webcams. I just haven't been able to make that switch yet.
Yeah.
So how much different on early on? Were you doing more of like miscellaneous stuff versus now you're primarily gaming and thought things, but how has your channel evolved through the years?
Well, I did go through a phase where I was trying to get regular people on, just like what we're doing now, doing like a live
interviews.
chat. Yeah. So, and I had some pretty interesting guests. Like I was the first YouTuber to have Tommy Tellerico on when the Amico was announced, or well, before it even had the name Amico. I had John Hancock on. Sonia, like I said, she was my first guest. I've had when Circus Convoy was being released, I had David Crane and the Kitchen Brothers on. So, while back, I had Dee Snider's son, Jesse Blaze Snyder from Twisted Sister, Dee Snider, and had his son on talking about the comic books he was making. So I kind of toned down on a lot of those ones, whereas because there's a little bit of dedication to have to like find a date, make sure everything was you know how it is. And, so I just in the time it takes. So I kind of scaled back on that. Like recently, I've been doing a little bit more either discussion videos. Like I did one just recently where I was just like an idea came to my head about what would make a great Intellivision mascot back in the day. Just something I thought would be fun to talk about.
I don't know if you saw, but I use that. I'm trying to do most shows and I'm getting it going. YouTuber video highlights, and I find 4 and then I make a little thing and I put the links in and I talk about them briefly. And I put that one in there because it was something unique. I try to find 4 videos Intellivision related that I think you should be watching. And I mean to post them on Facebook as well in the groups, but it just kind of, I got to get in that rhythm. But I did use that video and put that on one of the early ones.
A lot of the videos that I did in the past, though, I did a lot of the versus videos as well, where I took like the Atari versus the Intellivision. Even when I first started, I had a few. It was like Atari versus Intellivision versus ColecoVision, or Commodore 64 versus So, but I think I've gone through almost all of the games that appear on both systems that are worthy of talking about. So anytime like those videos come up, I like to do that type of thing. Just kind of show off. Maybe even do like homebrew versus the originals and things like that.
Kind of like Beauty and the Beast Pro and Beauty and the Beast. Those anything you can find to show 2 games like that is a fun. You're playing the game, you're talking about them. I like watching those.
And then showing off some of my new work that I'm like. Once I get a game that I'm feeling confident I'm going to be able to pull it off, I usually like to do a video about the making of the game or showing it off, like I did with the Tortoises there. It's like once I start feeling it, like I just started working on a game yesterday that's been on my mind for a while that I think would be a great port. But right now I'm trying to figure out if I can pull it off. Just like the previous one I started, which I need to get back into it, was a port of Bruce Lee. Which again,
I remember you talking about that one.
Yeah, I played that on the Intellivision or Commodore 64 a long time ago. Like so.
Was that one of the boxes it was just done?
Oh, I didn't see that. I don't know. Is that oh, I don't know if Rev showed me that or not.
This isn't something that is. These are fantasy boxes, stuff that might come out.
Yeah. Turtles. Oh wow. I didn't see those. Yeah, I have a few like that. Rev did send me a bunch of boxes from games that I started to work on, like Space Taxi. I have a box for Grand Prix. That game never got released yet. I don't know if it's going to get a release, but I do have a box for it. Don't have a
All right,
cartridge.
let's catch up real quick. Mike says, pressure's on. Now get on it, Brian. They're talking about Bruce Lee because we've seen a box. And then I don't know if you saw Atari Creep's post. It says, you had me on too. I'm still grateful you picked me. I just want to make sure you saw that.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to say hello to my buddy Sean. I hope you're still here. I did highlight your comment if you didn't see it. He's one of my oldest friends, my oldest Intellivision buddy. We go back 20-something years to when we first started collecting on eBay, and we used to beat each other up. And then we became friends, and the rest is history. But I wanted to give him a shout-out as well. I don't think I missed anyone else. Sean's there. Okay. Post Isle says, yeah, back in the day, I think Brian would post regularly on Tuesdays. So I knew what I was watching Tuesday nights. I like whenever you do the reaction videos or the reply videos, like someone like RGT, I think recently you had one, something that interests you, and then you do a reaction video. I like watching those kind of things too. I always want to do more of those. Like I have a few queued up, and now they're so old, I don't even know if I'm ever going to, finish them. I have so little free time. Everything I do is actually kind of rushed, and just in the nick of time, I get things going and done. And I want to do more. I have a queue of videos that I'd like to do. I think of new ideas, stuff like other people are doing. And it's just, I run out of time. Do you have that issue too? Or are you pretty much where you've done so much, you're running out of content?
Balance is a thing. Like, well, yeah, I've been doing the channel since 2016. So, it's trying to be like, what have I done? Or like, I come up with an idea and then I realize I've already done that one. Like I'll check my channel and be like, oops, I already did that. But yeah, time can be an issue. Definitely working all day long, and then, trying to find some time, between that and things you have to do around the house. When I want to program as well. I started a second channel a couple years back. I think.
I forgot about that one. I have it. If it's still there, I sub to it, but I forgot about it.
Yeah, I haven't been as active on that one. I was trying when I first set it up. I got really active on it. I was putting a lot of videos. And
was it toys?
It's a card game channel.
Cards.
Yeah, because that's one of the other hobbies that I've had for a long time, with like, playing card games like Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, or, like the trading card games. I did a few videos on Brian's Man Cave where I was talking about card games and stuff like that. And I always thought that it didn't really fit with Brian's Man Cave. And it just dawned on me that one day I'm like, why don't I make a second channel just for the card games and not talk about them anymore on Brian's Man Cave? And then, so I did that. I created one. I wanted to keep it similar, so I called it Card Master Brian, which is Brian's Man Cave backwards, BMC backward. So I thought that would be fun. And, so I started posting videos. I was doing well, but again, it's a hobby that I like, but sometimes I might not be as into it. So I kind of shelve it, and then I'm spending more time on, let's say, video games or the Brian's Man Cave channel or something else that I'm interested in at the time. So I had the channel going. I actually got it up past 1,000 subscribers. I had all of the watch time hours to monetize it. So I had it monetized. But then I went through a slump where I just wasn't into the card games as much, and I just kind of let it slide. And I didn't post a video for a few months, and it dropped below the minimum requirement. And so I lost the monetization, which I didn't
I
know
always
that.
thought that once you got that, you had
Yeah,
it. I didn't know you could lose
I didn't
it.
know either. Like I went on the channel. I'm like, hey, why isn't it monetized anymore? And I looked at it. So basically, if you're not, they have a limited. You have to be over 4,000 watch time hours or something like that, and you have to be uploading every like 90 days or something. So if you let your channel go dormant and you don't upload, you'll lose your monetization. But it's just all their way of trying to stop all the people who are just making frivolous channels to try and make money. You know, just put crap and just trying to monetize and only care about the money.
I mean, I'm still a pretty small channel, but early on, I got to the 4,000 hours. I'm way over that, but I'm still working on that 1,000 subs. I hit the first stage, and then I went through the whole process, and there was something I was supposed to get in the mail from AdSense, like a pin or something. I never received it. If I did, we must have thought it was junk mail, but we were opening everything at that moment. So I need to get back in. Someone said, yeah, I can't even do super chats. And I'm like, oh, I was wondering, it's like, I got to go back in and fix that because I am, 700 and something. It won't be too much longer. I'll hit that 1,000 and I definitely want to get it set up right. I just haven't done it.
It's strange how it works too, because it goes in waves where I feel like I'm getting subscribers almost every day. And then I'll feel like I go for like 3 days with nothing. Right. And then sometimes it's like you lose subscribers. All of a sudden you're like, now I'm less than what I was 2 days ago. And so it kind of is that kind of, it does that. You kind of get used to it and you don't sweat over it anymore. Cause like, well, that's just the way it is. I did get one boost, a pretty big boost once when RGT85 mentioned me in one of his videos. He talked about
people subbed.
He talked about the video I did about the next video game crash, and so he talked about me on his channel, and it was weird because I remember I was at my mother-in-law's house and I pulled out my phone. Like I always like to check my channel every once in a while just to see if anybody left a comment. And I noticed that my subscriber count was like way up. Like it was just going up and up and up and up. And I'm like,
where
what
is
is going
people
on?
come from?
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on. And I'm like, I showed my daughter, I'm like, look at this. Like, I'm just getting subscribers like crazy. I'm like, somebody must have mentioned me somewhere. And when I got home and I went on YouTube, and sure enough, I saw the video there. And he had my picture, I think, in there. Or I don't know. He was mentioning me. So, that gave me a slight boost. Also, John Hancock, he did at the end of one of his videos, he did like a YouTuber spotlight, and he put me in there. And that was before I really worked with him. So I thought that it was like, he did reach out to me and ask me a few questions about something, but that did help as well. So yeah, I mean, that's where peers help each other on this platform, and being on each other's channels and stuff really does help boost.
Oh yeah, I've subscribed to a ton of people that way, either from guests or people like you doing reaction video. That might have been when I found RGT or whatever, because I sub to him now too. But when I see stuff like that, someone everyone's all linked, I try subbing to everyone, and I watch as much as I can. I can't catch it all. But Creep says it angers me that you're not at 1,000 yet, Casey. Well, I haven't been doing it very long. What is a year and a couple months? And early on, it was really slow, and it kind of limits it when I just do Intellivision. So, but I get amazing watch hours, Creeper, for the channel of my size. I get amazing watch hours. The show, it does really well. I can't complain. It's just going to take me a little longer to get there, but I appreciate that.
It's a slow burn.
Yeah, I think once you get to a certain spot, and then it's like they start putting you in the algorithm or something more, and people just jump like crazy. Then when you get to another certain threshold, then you start getting more. I've seen some of the channels when I started, they were at, like Mike and I, we were pretty much close to the same time. He just boosted way up. And once you get up there, it seems like you build quicker. Like Papa Pete was small, like barely 1,000, if that, whenever I started watching, and Go Game Goes 2,000-3,000. And, he was like 500-600 when I started. So I'm thinking once I get to that certain point, it'll go a little more. But again, I only do Intellivision here, so that audience will be limited, unlike a lot of those other channels that do multiple things.
It's limited. It's limited to us old parts. The neck beards.
I remember when you first got into programming, and I watch your videos all the time, and all of a sudden I'm like, man, like he's hardly putting out anything. I don't know if you remember, I left comments or reached out. I don't remember how I did it. And you were like, oh, I'm getting into programming. So yeah, I'm kind of focusing on that. And I'm like, well, I love that. More Intellivision games, but dang it, I miss your videos too. I remember that was several years ago. That's when you first were starting to do it. I'm like, well, I guess if I'm not going to be able to watch Brian's Man Cave videos as much, at least we'll have some cool games in a little bit. You know,
well,
so
I'm
then
probably also putting out the Card Master Brian videos too at the time, because those also take some time, and I do those in a similar fashion where I don't script them. I do them primarily in one take. I don't really edit, but and the one thing that I noticed, I think that the demographic on that channel was a much younger audience, and so I think that's why that channel started to grow pretty fast. Like I got up to 1,000 subscribers pretty quickly, and a lot of the videos that I was putting out at that time on that channel were getting way more views than any of my Brian's Man Cave videos.
yeah,
Like, I think
it's that audience. When you have a group, you know, way more people are doing things like that than like me, just Intellivision. There's not a very large group, which I knew that. I mean, when I started, I wasn't trying, I didn't like, I want to be a big YouTuber. If I did, I would be doing all gaming and not just Intellivision. But I had this huge collection. I was a guest on Astro Smash Mondays with DJC. I did a little bit of stuff with Pete, you know, for Rev. And, you know, I'm someone that is in the know for Intellivision and what's going on for the most part, way more than your average person. I started going to PRG in the shows. It just made sense. Hey, let's do YouTube. We'll focus on Intellivision. I have limited time.
it's good
That
to have
should
a
help.
focus. That's for sure. Like I said at the beginning there, with when I first started out, I really didn't know what to do, like what content to put out. I was kind of just putting out whatever came to my brain. So like, you know, Lego or this or that or toys or this. Like I was just kind of throwing everything out there. I still kind of do that. Like if I do get something cool, I might make a video on it. But I tried to just narrow it down to mostly retro gaming, just because that just seems to be where a lot of my content is centered around. But periodically I'll do, like I did one at a car show where I was walking around showing the cars, and it was just like literally me with the camera talking about it. I want to try and do some of the more off the cuff ones. Like I do a little segments called Out of the Cave. So it's where I'm outside or I'm somewhere else and I do a quick little video, you know, that I find those can be fun. I tried to mess around with shorts because I don't.
I was going to ask you that. Shorts. It's like you read my mind.
Yeah, because I was at the time every time I did a video, I'd also do like a small clip of that video and put it on TikTok. And I used to always share on Instagram, but I just don't have the time for all these other platforms. I gave up on TikTok. I gave up on it. They're not my audience anyways. And I just thought I don't have the time for it.
That's what it comes down to. Maybe someday when I'm retired and my kids are grown, I mean, I'm going to be a grandpa later this year, so that's going to change things too.
Oh, big time.
But you know, I just don't have the time. Like I really need to get into shorts, but I don't go in any other platforms really. I mean, I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Discord, all kind of related, but I'm primarily just YouTube and the little bit of videos I do, gameplay, the show, horse racing live. We try to mix it up some, but I really need to do shorts. I need to learn the software. I have all the Adobe products. I have all the tools at my disposal. I just need to learn how to use them properly for what I need to make and implement them. I just haven't had time.
I have somewhat of a background in it, but video's just never been my thing. Like unlike Mike's Gaming Gala, where he can put out these like brilliant videos because he does that for a living. I'm in the similar field as in like media, kind of graphic design stuff, but I try to avoid video when I can. And even in my job, I've done some video stuff, but we ended up getting a guy on who just really, that's his special areas. He knows how to do all the graphics and everything. I wouldn't know where to begin. So that's why a lot of my videos are very literally raw. Like it's just me in the cave, me in the basement, in the dark, essentially, just rambling in front of the camera. I try to do everything in one take.
Makes it easier.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm into the video. I'm like, I really like where I'm going, and then if I do stop, because you get the brain fart, you're like, and I don't want to leave that in there, so I might continue on and then just say I'll just clip that out or something. But
then you got to remember to go back and clip it out.
In the beginning, like I said, I used to do like various parts, especially before I started doing it on the computer, where I would be streaming or playing on the computer. I would film the intro, film the gameplay, then film the outro, and then take all those three and make a video out of it. And so now I try, and that's why when I do the Brian Plays videos, I literally just put the camera in front of the TV, hit play, and just start talking. So
I try to do as simple as possible. I might do like a quick intro, the main part. When I go through a video store, I just started doing like the voiceover thing and trying to play with that. Maybe a separate video, my pickups. But my stuff's very simple as well. Like I said, it's all down to that time. Like if I'm up here too much, wife starts getting not upset, but you know what I mean? It's like you're always up there. It's like I'm hardly up there. That's why I don't have any videos. But, it takes time. Like when you're learning the program, everything takes you way longer because you're learning. So for me, all these things that I want to do, it's not just about, I'll come up here and do it. I need to learn how to do it, learn how to use the software, learn how to kind of effectively do what I want to do, and then implement it. So to have all that extra time to get started with it all, it just, and if I could have been up here, this is upstairs. If I could have been up here when I was off from surgery, I could have got a lot of that stuff done, but I wasn't able to get up here for a while. And then, I just, before
also,
I knew
if you set an expectation on how your channel is going to be, you have to always be able to do that. And it's kind of like with the theme, right? I didn't want to just have it. I just do this because I feel like I wouldn't be able to come up with enough content to do that. Like it's just like, especially in the beginning when I was really starting to think about what can I talk about? What types of things can I talk about? Since this is pretty open-ended. And so, I don't know if I'd be able to limit myself to say, I'm only going to talk about this. And, unless it's a topic that I could really churn out a lot of ideas on it. Like when I did even my card gaming channel, when I started it, I was only really playing one card game at the time, and that was Yu-Gi-Oh! And so I was pumping out Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos one after another. I did one, I think the first video I did was a Magic the Gathering deck. And then after that, it was Yu-Gi-Oh! So I just kind of was like attracting only just the Yu-Gi-Oh! People. So then when I would do another card game, for instance, might not hit as successful as all the other ones because it was all the people that were watching my channel were into that one game. So, but I did, like, I knew that there was other YouTubers out there who just did that one game and they didn't talk about other games. But I didn't want to put myself into that hole. So that's why I called it, Card Master Brian. That way I'm not just specific on a game. I can talk about any card games.
Anything that you're wanting to talk about or do at the time.
Yeah, exactly. So if I got into a new game that came out about a year ago called Lorcana, which is a Disney. It's made by Disney, and it's like Magic the Gathering, but it uses all the Disney characters. So it's I got into that game. So I started showing decks I was making and cards I was opening packs and all that kind of fun stuff. Just gives me more things to talk about.
So I've got a few more questions on the YouTube highlight. Some of your favorite videos, like, do you have any in mind? Like some of the favorite videos that you've done over the years?
Favorite videos?
I probably should have sent you that question beforehand so you could thought about it. We can move on to the next one, and then maybe you can think about it. Like, oh, I, was the first interview, and I interviewed this person, and I really enjoyed that. Or just like, what were some of your most memorable when you think about what are my best or favorite videos? Like, what pops in your head?
I would say, I mean, the live chats were great. I mean, getting some of the people on, like when I first started, it was very nerve wracking, and when I first did like the very first one, I didn't know if I was even going to be able to pull it off. I was communicating with Sonia on Facebook, and I just asked her, would you like to come on my channel? And then I had to figure out how am I going to pull it off. And so
I watched part of that. Was it yesterday or the day before? I caught part of that. I got to go back and finish it, but I watched part of that.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I learned a lot just from doing that one video alone. And my first idea was just have her on and just talk, just have a chat. That's why I called it live chat. But she actually was like, send me the questions ahead of time. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I was
there goes that.
Like, whatever came to mind. And so I thought about it. I'm like, okay, that's probably better to actually have a question sheet ready to go.
Or at least somewhat of a path, and they don't stutter when they're answering them.
So,
you can always go off on tangents, which will take more time, but I always try to have at least like a few questions, and then if chat brings them up, or I think of more
conversation, because you could get to a point where you both don't know what to say, and it's like
then you're live with everyone watching, and you're just like dead air. I'm like,
yeah. So I learned right off the bat to always have a question sheet ready to go. Side questions just in case it veers off into something else,
or if it goes a lot quicker than you thought, you have a few more things you can add in. Or
sometimes the one question answers a question that you have later on, and then you're like, oh crap, I can't ask that anymore. So, and during that and because that was my first time using the streaming service and all that, we did a quick test, but she ended up having issues with her camera, and I think the first full part of the interview, it was just me on the screen, and you would just you would hear her voice.
Okay, you could hear her respond, just not
her camera wasn't working. And I remember reading a comment someone left saying like, oh, it's kind of rude that you're interviewing her and you're not showing her on the screen, kind of thing. And I'm like, well,
like I did that on purpose.
I didn't want it to be that way. Yeah. Even with Tommy Tellerico, we had it all scheduled, we had it ready to go, and he was having problems with his equipment. His camera wasn't working, and it was like, uh-oh.
And that was in the early days for him, because you were one of the first, right? So he wasn't accustomed to doing all that yet.
Yeah, I personally, I didn't even know who he was. I never watched any of those shows he was on.
I didn't know.
He was a little bit.
I didn't know until the Amico stuff.
Yeah, he was after my time. But when somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody emailed me letting me know that he was bringing back the Intellivision name, and I'm like, what? I never thought that would ever happen. So he's like, oh, go on the Facebook page. He's there. They're doing a live thing on it. I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, well, maybe you can have him on your channel. I'm like, I'll check it out. So I went there, and so when he was on, when he was setting up, he couldn't get his computer to work. I don't know what was going on. The camera wasn't working, and so he ended up switching over to the phone, and then we did the video through his phone. He did it through his phone, so we were actually able to pull it off. I also had the same thing with the Audacity guys, the David Crane and the Kitchen Brothers. That one was nerve-wracking also, because they all came on and we were getting set up and my microphone wasn't working.
Oh man.
They're like, oh, we can't hear you. I'm like, oh crap. And this is like 5 minutes before we start to go on. And then they were like, oh, I'm picking up my microphone. I'm looking at it. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Why is it not working? And they're like, no, we still can't hear you. And they're like, should we postpone this? And I'm like, oh crap, I don't want to postpone it. I've already advertised it. I was really excited about doing this interview because, I wanted to talk to Gary Kitchen about Keystone Keepers. And, I'm like, no, why is this happening to me? I restarted my computer, still nothing. And then at the end, I realized it was right here. This was unplugged a little.
Oh, just enough.
I could not see it. Like it felt like it was plugged in, but it was just pulled out enough that it wasn't making a connection. And so as soon as I saw that, I plugged it in. Then they could hear me. I'm like, whew, like minute to spare kind of thing. And
it's embarrassing too. Like, I mean, even if it's not your fault, it's still embarrassing whenever you coordinate a show, different guests, and then something happens. You're like, oh,
especially when you're doing it in front of like 3 Atari legends.
Yes, Activision guys. I mean, if it's you and I, that just friends or whatever. But when you've got like, Activision guys from the original, very first third-party company, and it's like, I'd be stressed out. Creeper says Amico is 100% Brian's fault. Confirmed.
Send in the hate mail.
So the Amico, I've said it a few times. The Amico is actually, in a roundabout way, what brought me back to collecting, and eventually all this stuff behind me, and then eventually YouTube. TJ Ferreira, one of my good buddies, I happened to just randomly pick up YouTube, and it threw that video at me. Didn't know who he was, and I watched it. I'm like, whoa, there's a new Intellivision coming, and this is 2020, so it had already been going for a while. But I didn't know about it. I didn't hear about it yet. And TJ had a fun skit, and I'm like, hey, cool. And I started doing research, and then I'm like, you know what? I still have thousands of games and, I don't know, 50, 60 consoles, but it was all common stuff. I sold all the rare stuff. I'm like, I've been having the itch for a while. It's like, new console coming. I'm going to start collecting. I'm not going to go crazy like I did last time, though. Just get some. Yeah, well, that didn't last long. But TJ is the reason I came back, and I am where I am now. Just a random chance watching of a video, found out something's coming, and then I started searching and finding everyone, and the rest is kind of history. But so are there any type of videos that you haven't done on your channel that you've thought about, I'd like to do that or try that? Or
I don't know. I was thinking about it, like maybe experimenting with sort of like you said with the reactionary videos, watching certain things and making reactions to them. I don't know. It's hard to say because at one point I think if I start doing things like that, I might be going off brand. I'm not doing really what I. But my daughter watches a YouTuber. He started a video game channel, kind of the same idea, but he also does like reactionary videos where he just is watching videos and laughing at them,
Kind of like, what is it? SS Sniper Wolf. My daughter watches her. She's one of the top YouTubers always in the world, one of the top 10. She just watches other skits, videos, things, and just talks about them.
She watched her a while ago. Frankly, I found her annoying.
My daughter's 9, so she loves her.
No, the one that she's been watching recently is Daz Gaming.
I haven't heard of that one, but I don't sit and watch my kids much. When they were younger, I did.
She likes to put it on the TV, and so she watches a bunch of different. So the most of the stuff she watches annoy the crap out of me. But Daz is he's a gaming channel, but he's also like a comedian type of guy. Like he's kind of funny, and whenever we're watching, like I laugh at what he says and the stuff that he does. So I thought that would be kind of fun to do, like reactionary videos. But I don't know. Just something that just came to mind.
The only one that I have
Spotlight, which I was thinking about resurrecting that.
What was it? Brett Weiss that did the Mount Rushmore of Intellivision gaming or something, and then Pete did one. Some other people did them. Like there's stuff like that kind of reaction videos. I want to do. It's just those are the ones that I would like to do next, but I just haven't had time.
Top 5 lists and top 10 lists are always pretty popular.
Yep.
I've got
those on there.
Although I would think, now going back to what you asked about my favorite videos, I kind of got creative on one where I did character death scenes in video games. So I showed a bunch of different games of the character when he dies. So like Jumpman, where he's falling down, going boink, 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 and then hits the ground. All the different death scenes of characters in video games. I ended up doing 2 videos on that because I had a lot of fun doing that.
I don't think I've seen those. I'll have to look those up.
I'm trying to remember what I called it, but it is funny. That's all it is. It's just me playing the last bit of a bit of a game where the character falls to their death.
Creeper is bringing up a good one. You don't see this a whole lot anymore. At least I don't. Challenge and tag videos, and then people just keep going. I remember seeing those, but not once I started doing YouTube videos.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a while either.
Okay, so we're down to the last one. Where do you see your channel in the next few years? Like, just keep doing the same kind of things you're doing? I'm hoping you're still going to be going, but where do you think about that? Where do you see your channel in the next 2-3 years?
That's a good one. I kind of just been coasting through this whole thing. So, I mean, like I said, my videos don't take a lot of my time, and I trying to keep it that way. I'm trying to keep it that I'm not too heavily invested, because I've seen other YouTubers that put way too much work into their videos, and their subscriber count is low, their views are low, but I can tell they put a lot of work. And I've seen that on Twitter and stuff like that, or X or whatever it's called now, where people are complaining because they're like, well, I'm putting all this work into my video and nobody's watching it. So I don't want to get to that point where I'm investing too much into it to try and, end up with the same results that, like we were talking about earlier, like the audience, to try and make it. I mean, even, another YouTuber that I used to watch a lot, I don't watch as much, but is Smash JT.
Yeah,
and
same. I don't even watch them anymore, but I used to.
He went more to the drama side because he knew that that's where the videos were going to take him.
And it had. His subs and views are through the roof, but it's like, I just don't care about that stuff. I want to have a good time with good people and talk about things that we all like. I don't care about the drama.
Yeah, like there's a lot of YouTubers that were coming out and all they did was just slam other people, slam other channels. I even caught a few videos of people slamming me. Like one guy was making fun of me, and I'm like, whatever.
I haven't seen those. If you've ever talked about Amico, there's people doing dumb stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
I think the Amico brought out a lot, but there was also the ones that were going after e-beggars. They're still around. They're still there. They make their videos just trashing other YouTubers, saying they're e-beggars. They're just asking for money. I think the one video I saw where the guy was trashing me was because I was working with John Hancock. And he's not, he's got a lot of hate towards his videos because of the museum and all other stuff. And they just call him an e-beggar, and he's just doing it for money and views and, that type of thing. So the negativity stuff. But drama sells, right? Drama, if you want to get into like Smash GT, he's okay with that. Like I interviewed him on my channel long time ago when he was just doing his regular video game stuff.
And that's when I watched.
But then he slowly, I think through the whole Amico thing, he transitioned from like big fan of the Amico to hating on the Amico. And then his channel started to grow. And then the more videos he did were focused on the video gaming industry and slamming people for, the woke culture and all that stuff. And that's when he really took off. So
I think the bigger you are too, the more you're going to have all of that. Haters, people who love you. You're going to get a lot more of that. Smaller channels, I don't see it as much, but the Amico thing they did. But, we don't see a lot of that stuff like those guys have, the big, huge YouTubers.
Yeah, and the bigger you get, the more attention you attract, the more haters you get. And
yep.
Like I don't get too many of those type of negative videos. I did one video where I brought one to the as the topic of the video, It was a comment that someone made that I'm not a video gamer or something like that. I'm just a nostalgic person, and that type of thing. And I read the comment and I thought, yeah, he's being negative in a way, but it was interesting, and I made a video out of it.
I remember that one.
Yeah, and so that type of thing. But,
I've had a few
know.
weird comments. Like some of them, it's like, what the heck are you even saying? And then there's a few that were like, I think on the PyRTO, someone said, you didn't even look like you were happy and enjoyed it. I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm more like that. I'm more of a serious kind of a guy, but I was just talking about the unit and explaining how to do it. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I would never leave like a negative comment. I mean, maybe if someone was saying some weird stuff, maybe, but not just on some random video and I thought they weren't this or that. It's like, there's enough negativity. I just want to have a good time. That's why I'm here. So I try to stay away from all that.
I don't mind them if they're useful. Like I got a lot of negative comments about the lighting in my man cave, to my sound quality, to things like that. And I like those are pretty good feedback. But I've had other comments where like there's one on my that recent video I did about the mascot. I think it was on that one where the guy said the person was like, Intellivision is crap. That's the type of thing where I just kind of leave it alone. I don't even bother. I saw the Atari Creep made a comment to him. I think he said, who invited the popular kid or something like that. And, I just choose not to engage on things like that. Like, obviously, this person, I don't know who he is. And if he thinks the Intellivision's crap, whatever, maybe he grew up with the Nintendo. I don't know.
I mean, it's the same with like anything. It's like, I know no one's going to tell me what to like, not like, say, not say. I don't do that to other people, and I don't get mad. Someone else thinks that a certain console is crappy, or, those games are garbage, or, anything from this publisher is crappy, or it's okay. I mean, everyone's going to have all sides, but sometimes people go overboard with it. And the negativity is just like, I just don't care to be, around that too much.
Yeah. Yeah, who invited the cool kid? Well, it's tempting to want to like respond to people like that, but they're just, most of them are just trolls. Or
I will generally, like, if I'm entertaining them, I'll be like it and say, it's like yeah, I mean, there's some games I don't like too, but what games have you played? And most of the time, like, you try to engage them and kind of steer it, or a lot of times they don't respond.
If I could get
some negative comment,
if I could get some actual feedback, that's kind of like I've always talked about this too. I hate the thumbs down icon, and not that I hate that someone's giving me the thumbs down. I hate it because it doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah,
like, I don't know why they're giving me the thumbs down. Are they just being a troll?
You don't know. If they didn't like the comment, they're just being a troll. It's like, oh, they didn't like that game. They don't mean it in a negative way. They're just say, yeah, I don't like that, or it's like, I don't know. I get those once in a while. I'll get a couple, and I always think it's just someone trolling through, and because it's like on a video that there's really nothing to be negative about, and there's a negative or negative thumbs down. And I'm like, why?
Well, I used to get negative feedback, like with, say, having the intro. If you notice, I don't have an intro anymore. I might just have my logo, and then it disappears. Whereas before, I always had that little intro with the music going on and stuff, and showing different clips of the videos that I've done. And periodically, I'd get heat from people being like, "Why is your intro so long? What's with the intro?" I have to scroll through your intro. I hate the intro. It's like, okay, whatever. And I started to realize that a lot of people, they just don't like long videos. They want you to get to the point. Maybe it's because of TikTok.
But there's other people that love the intros. Oh, but I only want it 5 seconds. It's like, it's not your channel. Just enjoy it. Skip it. You can fast forward. It's not like it's live. It's like, and Mike here is bringing up, what's funny is when you ask Casey what games he's played, most of his stuff is still sealed. That was pretty true in the beginning, but I can tell you most all of this stuff is not sealed anymore. And that's the big reason why I started all the gameplay for Homebrew and Original 125. It gets me playing them, gets me opening them. I don't even care about shrink wrap stuff anymore. And I used to, in the beginning, I would actually get anxiety opening these things up because I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing that. Yeah, I know. But I do it now. I don't even care about sealed. I don't even go after them. But yeah, once upon a time, definitely.
Well, another reason. Sorry,
actually.
the other reason why I pulled, because I just saw Mr. Postile saying, "Oh, I miss Brian's intro."
I liked it.
The other thing is that the music that I used was like I got it from one of those sites where it's like free to use as long as you say where you got it, which I always had in my intro. Well, like I put the webpage where I got it from. And then one day I uploaded a video and it got flagged as with copyright music. And I'm like, oh crap! Like, how did someone buy the rights to it or something like that? But like, I know a lot of people, they try and claim songs even if they don't have the rights to it. And I thought, oh crap! I remember seeing another YouTuber where that happened to them, where every intro was on their video, every video had the intro with a piece of music that got copyrighted, and all their videos got taken down.
Oh,
and
man.
So I'm like, I don't want that happening to me. So I just kind of was like, that's it, I'm done.
Well, nowadays, have you messed with the AI stuff at all? So, like my outro, that stuff is really cool because you can just type whatever you want. You can pick rock, whatever type of music, and you can keep editing it and play. Someone else has done the few that I have, but it works great and it doesn't get it doesn't get flagged in any way. You can have it all customized without paying big bucks.
YouTube also has a library that you can get music from too, if you really want. But I just at the same time I thought I'm just going to skip the intro anyways. I don't think it's going to add much value. So, I mean, I just got rid of it.
All right. I think that's the end of my questions. We've been going about 2 hours and 7 minutes, and I know you're way farther ahead in time than I am. Is there anything else about your channel that we haven't brought up or anything else you can think of before we call it a night?
No, I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, we went through it pretty good.
Yeah. And like we were saying earlier, if you go to my website, you can find the game that I have for sale. Still got Napoleonic Wars for sale. You can get a signed copy if you want.
Same price?
Same price, yep.
I'm hoping they weren't here earlier. You also sell a lot of your ROMs.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get some more box copies of games from Rev, maybe. And I sell all the ROMs except for the Napoleonic Wars.
Mike says, I mostly use the YouTube audio library. I've never even looked into that, Mike. There's so much I need to learn.
A lot of music.
Benville says, I like his new intro. Are you talking about Mike? Yeah, there's so much I need to do, so little time. But I mean, thanks for coming on again. I always enjoy. It's a pleasure. I hope you're on for many years to come. You're one of the first people I followed and watched a lot of videos. And I'm always the same kind of stuff where I like your different things. Like, oh, he's got a reaction video. Oh, he's talking about playing a game. Oh, he's making a game. Those are come later, talking about your games and just the different things. But I mean, I'm not going to lie. I want to see the retro gaming stuff, but that's just me. I only have so much time to watch videos, and I tend to be in the retro game, world. And that's where I spend most of my time, whether it's at work thinking about it, watching it while I work, mostly listening. I'm at home doing stuff. I got all the modern stuff, but retro's where it's at for me. I just love it. Yeah. And I love watching all you guys that do anything retro. Catch up. Napoleonic Wars, a fine game, says Benvril. Mike was a part of that one.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Postile says, see you both tomorrow night. So, yeah, that's it. So tomorrow, I will be on Mike's Gaming Gala and Retro Bliss Gaming. We are doing Atari 2600 Homebrew top list.
I'll be there too. I'll be there too.
Oh, okay. I wasn't told that yet. Sweet. So I wasn't told at first. I was just top 10. I'm like, cool. So I start going everything. Then he says, okay, only 5 can be ports. I'm like, crap. I've got like 30 something homebrews for Atari, and probably most all of them are ports, and some of which I didn't even know were ports. I sent my list to Phil, and he's like, yeah, 2 of those are ports. I'm like, oh crap. So I've had to find more. And then I sent 2 Audacity games. He's like, yeah, we can't do that either, because I know they say they're not homebrew, and I get it. But to me, anything that's not in the year of the console is out. I call that homebrew. I call it professional homebrew.
I'm with you on that one.
But it's still homebrew, because that's what homebrew is. Doesn't mean a guy tinkering around and made a little game. It's professional homebrew. I'll give him that. That's just my view. I'm not saying I'm right or they're wrong, just for me. But he's like, we better not use those either. I'm like, I'm running out of stuff here.
Well, I'll argue against that one too.
Yeah. So he told me not to use those either, but he says I think Audacity should be fine. Yes, Phil's the boss. But if I don't know, Mike, I have near 40 of these things, but they're almost all ports. So, well, I guess we will see you tomorrow. And we're going to, like I said, Mike's Gaming Gala, Retro Bliss Gaming, me, Brian's Man Cave, Mike, and Retro Bliss Gaming, of course. I knew they were talking about getting a 4th person, but they said it wasn't for sure thing yet. That was the last I heard. Well, now I find out it's you. So I'm really interested and looking forward to that show tomorrow. My wife, not so much, because I do this show. As soon as I get home from work on Mondays, I'm up here getting ready and do the show. And it's usually at least a few hours. My old shows, I'd go easily over 3 sometimes. And then I go down, I eat, kids are getting ready for bed, and we go to bed. And then tomorrow I'm going to do that show. And then Wednesday she's on swing, and Thursday we do bowling. So she's like, you're up there right now. I'm up here like a lot. But help when I first get home, I help the kids with homework, do all that kind of stuff, check everyone out. But it's like right now I'm not on Phil and Mike's show very often. Whenever he asks me if it's something I can go on, I try to. I like going on other people's shows, and bowling is just fun to do. It only lasts so many weeks and it's over. It's not like we're doing that year round, but right now, like, everything's hitting. But all right, buddy, unless there's something else, we're going to call this one a night, and I'll do my quick little outro, and I guess we're going to do this again tomorrow.
All right. See everybody later.
All right. I really enjoyed having you on. It was fun to chat with you as always, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. See you later.
All right, buddy. Good night.
Take care.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for episode 58. And I want a big thanks going out to Brian for spending his evening with us. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while. He's one of the first YouTuber highlights that I wanted to have on. We've got another one coming up. We've got next week, I've got Opcode Gaming Special. We're going to play all the Intellivisions. Maybe if I can talk to Ed, we'll get a little clip and an update. And we're going to play them all, talk about them. I'm going to show you where you can buy them in case you didn't already know. And then the week after that, we're going to have Mike's Gaming Gala on for a couple things. We're going to talk about a few different things with him, kind of like how we did here today. So until then, I hope you guys all tune in tomorrow. It should be fun doing something other than Intellivision, as I do love all retro gaming, but my main focus is Intellivision, of course. So let me see what else if I missed here. That's it. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, have a good night. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Rise up, get ready for the fight. The Intellivision gamer, shining so bright. Reviews and gameplay, he's got it all from classics to new. He stands tall, interviews and insights. He's on a mission, unleashing the power of retro intuition. He's got the knowledge, passion untamed. Intellivision burning with the flame. YouTube's his stage, so spell unite. Intellivision gamer, he brings the light with the game console. He's making history.